Hello, I'm OJ Borg and I'm here to find out about Polyart. I'm here in the Digital Academy of Antalis with Phil Brophy. Hello, Phil.
Pleased to meet you, OJ.
Phil, this is Polyart.
It is.
What can this do that paper can't?
Well, Polyart looks and feels like a paper, but in fact it's actually synthetic. So it's extremely durable and hard wearing for users in a lot of different environments.
But what can you do with it?
You can even write on it, OJ.
With a ballpoint pen?
With a ballpoint pen.
Phil's got his pen out, so here we go. Here's my terrible handwriting. I've chosen one simple word. That is how easy it is to write on Polyart. So if we know it's easy to write on, let's find out it being water resistant and tear resistant. Right, Phil, can Polyart be used outside?
Absolutely, OJ. It's a very, very durable product. Not only is the product water resistant, but it's tear resistant, so very suitable to outdoor applications.
Right, here's one I folded earlier. Let's try and prove the water resistance.
Shall we try the water resistance?
Yeah, here we go. In goes the water. Dry bottom.
Dry bottom.
Let's just pour the water back out again. And just to prove the tear resistance, here is a piece of Polyart, which I'm going to try and tear in half. And I can't do it. Shows how tough it is. How long will this last outdoors?
It's an extremely durable product, OJ. It will certainly outlast the durability of the inks. It's very, very suitable for those harsh environments, typically outdoors.
So what sort of applications would you use outdoors then?
For example, a map. Where a paper, if you're in the middle of the hills and it's wet and it's muggy, it's very difficult for paper to cope with that environment. Polyart is very suitable for map application and very durable.
Because what you don't want is your map. You don't want it to get wet and then rip, because it's always where you are.
It's always where you are. It's always on that fold.
Always on that fold.
That's why you need a synthetic.
So there you go. Let's find out now about Polyart being grease resistant and chemical resistant. Phil, I'm just flicking through my flip chart of bearing damage here. How robust is Polyart?
Well, indeed, I think it's slightly more robust than some of those bearings, OJ. But just as you are there, you're handling the product, but imagine you're in an engineering workshop, there's oil, there's grease. It shows the durability of the product, really.
Well, you're talking about durability of the product, grease maybe,
yes.
Cocktail menu.
Don't forget the water resistance.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of handling, a lot of moisture. That's where the product comes into its own.
Very good for a cocktail menu. So let's find out about Polyart being UV stable and cold resistant. Phil, I've done some research. I know that Polyart is good at low temperatures, cold temperatures. What are the benefits?
Okay, the core of Polyart is a polyethylene, and polyethylene has really good cold temperature resistance.
How cold are we talking?
Polyart can go to minus 60 degrees.
That is cold.
It is indeed, OJ. I wouldn't necessarily want to be in there with it at minus 60 degrees.
No, so give me an example of how this works with a cold situation.
Okay, well, you have paper and you have other types of plastics. So let's say they're being applied to some shellfish which has just been harvested. That then goes into cold storage to be transported. If at the other end it comes out and the label's gone or disintegrated, that's a big issue for the retailer. Polyart will be there.
And it's essential that that label stays there in that cold storage.
Oh, absolutely, because as I say, they don't have the capability then to relabel it, and perhaps it would have a sell-by date. What's that date?
So if we're talking about food, let's find out how Polyart works with food. Phil, I guess this is a big one. Is Polyart safe to use with food?
Absolutely, OJ, yes. We actually have an independent certificate called ISAGA, which we have to have renewed every 2 years, and that gives us full contact with food approved.
So go on then, give me an example of how Polyart comes into contact with food.
If you've ever gone into your local delicatessen and you'll see perhaps the hock of ham hanging up, that's a very traditional marketplace for us in the Mediterranean countries, where they will wrap the label around the hock to show the origin of the product.
So how key is that certification then for this sort of application?
Anything to do with food, you have to know that it's safe. We offer that security.
Right, we know Polyart is tough, we know it's robust, but does it look good?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Polyart is not only available in just the matte white finish, we also have iridescent coatings. And as you can see, it brings quite a lovely luster to the finish of the product.
Because that's the thing, when you're selling something, when you're advertising something, it's got to look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it fits very well with the modern needs for a short run. You can print it on HP Indigo.
And what if you're going to try and catch someone's eye when you're in a shop, for instance?
Well, again, for point of sale displays, we have a very adaptable product. It die cuts very easily. You can spot varnish it, but it has the robustness to work in a retail environment.
And Phil is telling me there that I need skincare, I think. So it's time to find out how Polyart prints like paper. Now, I've learned enough now to know that Polyart is synthetic.
Yeah.
Can you print on it though? Because you think you won't be able to.
Yeah. Well, remember, OJ, Polyart forms like a plastic but feels like a paper. The clay coating is ideal for print technology. It's designed for printers with printers in mind.
The thing is though, as soon as you start using a word like synthetic, you'd think it would have an environmental impact.
You would, but it's the core of the product is high density polyethylene. If you go onto your local authority website for recycling, you will see Class 2 HDPE. The product is manufactured with ISO 14001 and conforms to the REACH statements.
Right then, Phil, sum up Polyart for me.
Okay, OJ. Polyart is an extremely versatile product. It feels like a paper, performs like a plastic. It has many different applications, many different areas of opportunity. It's a very dynamic product and easy to print.
Phil, thank you very much for your time. Polyart Offset Litho Matte White is available in a range of weights and sizes from 75 GSM to 285 GSM, SRA2 to B1. It's also available in bespoke sizes. Polyart Iridescent is available in 276 GSM in SRA3. If you have a new project or idea where paper is not meeting your requirements, talk to us at Antalis. Contact your local sales office.